All right, everyone. So welcome back. You've completed the last group 4. I'll welcome you once again to make some notes for yourself, think about it, talk to your colleagues. How did it go? You're here to get calibrated in this calibration training, and you are becoming an expert. We've seen measurable improvements in your ability to express uncertainty and variability. And you're learning to provide accurate subjective estimates. And we're going to use those for our model building procedures. So this is serious stuff, and it's good that you are making progress. Now I want to introduce you to one more tool for the next round. And I call it the unreasonably wide distribution. This one helps me probably most of all. And in this idea, I start with a crazily wide, unreasonably wide distribution. You can think in terms of sci-fi level crazy wide distributions, right? And then, of course, they have to be to an extent that you, if you use this method, just make them so wide that they couldn't possibly be wrong. Start there. And then if necessary, if you have some idea that maybe the upper bound is really much too high, maybe the height of Mount Everest is not infinitely high, or not hundreds of kilometers, hundreds of thousands of kilometers high, then you could perhaps, if you're sure about that, you could perhaps work your way back, given Klein's premortem. You can say, that lower bound of Everest being below sea level and the upper bound of Everest being many hundreds of thousands of kilometers, that's not realistic. So let me reduce that a bit. Maybe the height of Everest is several thousand kilometers, or maybe we'll just reduce it a bit, and then and maybe it's at sea level, right? The height of Everest. And then we could, if that's still you still feel that that's super unreasonably wide, but it may be necessary to stop there. If you really don't know any better, then we want generally we want to stay with a pretty broad distribution, not uninformative, but certainly one that includes our expectation and doesn't exclude our expectation for the true value. And so you can work your way back to a narrower distribution using Klein's premortem. But again, in your estimates so far, it's very likely, typically the case, that you've been providing very narrow estimates that don't include the true value, more than you haven't been hitting that goal of 90%. So consider starting broad and staying broad if that's necessary. The unreasonably wide distribution. So now please go through the last set of questions and try applying Klein's premortem, try applying the equivalent bet, and try applying this unreasonably wide distribution in combination of those, and try to see if that helps you in providing your estimates. Look at your notes, think about how this has gone for you so far, and try to apply these tools as you move forward with the calibration.